And we are live. What's going on, everyone? Thank you all so much for tuning in at this time. Everybody that's here, greatly appreciate it. Anybody watching this on the replay, thank you so much. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Well, we get more basketball, ladies and gentlemen. We get into game 7. The Indiana Pacers, they dominated and controlled this game basically start to finish, which you love to see, right? It's just, look, I want more basketball, right? The more basketball, the better. It's really what it boils down to, right? Like the more basketball we can get, the better going forward, right? Now, obviously, we all have our teams and our preferences and things like that, but during this time, this is what it is. And this has been great basketball. This series has been a fantastic series. I know all the talks about, ratings and, the teams that are in it and, big market teams and people want this, that, and the other. No, this has been an excellent series. Excellent series. Well, now we're going to see what the Pacers can do, right? Because when you're talking about the Indiana Pacers, they're going to have to do something that no one else has been able to do. Beat the Oklahoma City Thunder twice in a row, right? That has been the big thing. And I said, whoever wins 2 straight games could potentially win this series. Well, OKC did it. Now you're going to have Indiana do it. Indiana has to handle business and do what, again, no one else has been able to do, which, credit the Thunder for that. Because the Thunder are the team that, hey, yeah, you might get us, you might get us every other game, but you're not going to beat us twice. And now you're in this situation where, you're getting the best brand of basketball we could get. And, Indiana's going to have to brand it. I know Tyrese Halliburton, right? He's been dealing with the calf strain and whatnot, but this is it. This is what you play for. This is the closest you might ever get to winning an NBA championship. One game, no holds bar, winner take all. Give me that. Sign me up for that. Right? Like this is beautiful. The other thing I'm really curious about is what happens to each team if they lose, right? If Indiana loses, like, does either team look at this and go, man, we were right there, right? Like, run it back or, maybe make a little minor move or whatever? Or does either team feel like, we were right there, we need to do something drastic, right, to put us over the top, and maybe one of these teams end up kind of, drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit, right? Like kind of falling for it a little bit and potentially sabotaging them, right? Like Indiana, I think, will stay the course and just kind of add some key pieces. The Thunder, I'm really like, if the Thunder lose this in game 7 at home, right, after taking a 3-2 lead, do they go and make a big splash? Do they go try to get Kevin Durant back? Do they go try to make a play for Giannis? Like, do they try to do something where it's like, man, if we had a KD, we're winning a championship, right? Or if we had a Giannis, we win in the championship, right? Do they make a drastic move or change, right? Like like Littlefoot said, OKC might finally cash their chips in, right? That's kind of my thought too, right? Like if Indiana loses, I think they'll just stay the course because it's like, man, we stayed the course, add a tweak here and there, and we were in the conference finals and then the NBA finals and took the best team in basketball to a 7-game series, right? So we just got to stay the course and stay with it, right? Or, do they go and make a drastic move? I don't think that they make the draft. I think it's possible that OKC makes the drastic move. I could see OKC again kind of cashing their chips in a little bit here if they fail to win this game. But I mean, this game was probably one of the worst games. Just because Indiana was basically in control start to finish, right? OKC was up, I think, what was it, like 10-4 or something like that, and then Indiana came in and just ran away with it from the start. This is going to be, in my opinion, a really big test of experience versus youth, right? Luckily, the Thunder had a game 7 already, right? Because if they didn't, I would be like, Indiana's winning this game, right? I mean, you're talking the highest stakes, game 7, right? Like I would be leaning heavily towards Indiana had they not played a game 7. The fact that OKC has already played a game 7 and won it, I do think is going to go a long way for OKC. I think it's going to be hugely beneficial for OKC because now they're in a they've been here. We've had this moment. We've had this angst of like, hey, our season's over if we lose this, so on and so forth, right? Like, the pressure. We've felt that before. It's one thing, second round. It's another thing, NBA Finals, but at least you've been there. At least you have kind of a reference point to look at and dive into, right? Where if they didn't have that, they don't have that. And at least Indiana's had that experience, right? I still think that this favors Indiana slightly because, again, they've had the experience, right? They've been there. They've gone through these games. They've had these runs. They've played much more playoff games and had different looks and I'm not saying that they're this like super seasoned weather team that's been in multiple game 7s and all that stuff, but they again were in the conference finals, had a tough road, we're in hard fought games throughout these playoffs, right? Just like OKC. But that little bit of experience, that little bit of like, hey, we've been here type thing, I do think goes a long way for a team like Indiana. So I do think that there is a bit of youth versus experience here. And in my opinion, all the pressure is on OKC. All of it. Because it's like, you're the best team with the best player and you're at home. You should and are supposed to win that game. If you lose that game, your season, historic season, all that stuff, everything is on the line right now for a team in OKC. Everything is on the line right now for a team in OKC. Right? Indiana, right? Like, if I'm Indiana, I'm going out there playing it cool, right? Like, you weren't even supposed to be here. They were going up against the best team. We weren't supposed to force game 7, right? Overrated, right? Like, there's no like, if Indiana loses, everyone's gonna go, man, what a hard fought series. Good on you, Indiana. Man, can't wait to see you back again. Right? OKC loses. All of a sudden, the conversation narrative is, right now the conversation is, if they win the championship, are they one of, if not the best teams ever? Because of the win rate and games won and all that stuff. Watch how quickly all of that changes. Legacy games and SGA's history, and it's just all of those narratives change very quickly. So I think there's a lot of pressure on OKC, more pressure than they have probably ever had and ever felt, right? Luckily, they were at home. If they were on the road, I think this is already a wrap. But the fact that they were at home, I do think is a little more calming, right? Because you'll have the fans in your corner, a little better of a whistle. Hopefully refs kind of stay out of it and just kind of let them go at it, right? But you're going to get a little more favorable of a whistle than you would otherwise, right? There are certain things about this that are going to be hugely beneficial to them that if they were on the road, they're not going to have that benefit. So I do think that this is good for OKC in that sense. I just want a really good game. I really hope it's not a blowout. I hope it's not a game like this. I'm okay with this game being a game like this because it's like, now we get a game 7. I really want a just crazy, hard fought, tooth and nail to the wire game 7. I want give me a game winner game 7, right? Like, I want as good of basketball as you can. I love this series. The series has been fantastic as a basketball fan. Again, like I mentioned earlier, we all have our favorite teams and our favorite preferences. And, and there's talks about, the big markets and, what about the ratings and all these other things. I just want great basketball in the finals. Obviously, I get the Lakers in it, like, of course, but I want good basketball. That's what I want. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I want. right? As a basketball fan, as a basketball enthusiast, I just want good games. Give me a game 7 for the record books, right? Give me a game 7 that we look back at and just go, man, what was that? Right? That's what I want. But anyway, jump into the chat here, right? Real quick, if you haven't yet, hit that like button for me, hit that subscribe button for me, and let's get into the chat and answer some questions. All right. Let's play. What's going on, GTA 5? The best 2 words in sports. Game 7, yes, 100%. Gotta love it, especially in the NBA Finals. Like, come on. Again, I want a great NBA Finals. My concern is that, like, it's a blowout one way or another. I want a good, hard fought, tooth and nail. Like I said, give me a game winner. Give me something crazy. Give me, just Tyrese Halliburton's got the ball. Like, especially that with how crazy of a run he's gone on. Give me that moment, right? Put the ball in Tyrese Halliburton's hands, right? NBA script writers, if you're listening, I'm not somebody that really believes in that stuff, but seriously, if I could tie game, I'd even be okay with an overtime. Give me an overtime, whatever. There hasn't been an overtime, right? But tie game or down 1, something like that. Put the ball in Tyrese Halliburton's hands and let's see. Let's see if he can go close it out. I would love a moment like that. Whoops, wrong account. No, like I said, I doing the sports account, trying to I need to get the watch time in particular. Got the subscribers, stuff like that, trying to get it monetized. I mean, obviously I want to do live streams, period, on this channel, just like Laker channel, just like, all the channels. But I definitely need to do more. I know people want me to do it on the Laker channel, but I really need to get the watch time up on this. And a great way to do that is live streams. Because usually people are around longer than, 7-minute video or 10-minute video or whatever. And then people that watch it after and all that stuff. So definitely got to do this, but it's great. Lakers would have to beat OKC twice in a row if John Gable didn't screw us. Yeah. Look, I think I talked about it even before the playoffs started, that I thought the Lakers could give OKC some issues, some fits, right? Again, matchups are very important. And you're seeing a similar thing kind of play out, right? Like, Indiana can go small and still kind of be big with, like, Obi Toppin at the 5 or Pascal Siakam at the 5, right? One of the problems that OKC has is, again, there are a bunch of like 6'3" to 6'5" guards. And you look at a team like Indiana and they're just bigger, right? I mean, you got Nembhard, 6'6", right? Like, Tyrese Halliburton is 6'5", 6'6", right? Their guards are big. They're physical. They can get after it, right? You want to go multiple bigs with Chet and Isaiah Hartenstein, no problem. We can match you there, right? You want to go small, we can match you there. You want to go kind of big, small, we can match you there. Right? Like, Indiana's able to kind of throw out and match whatever it is that OKC throws out. And that's one of the things that I thought the Lakers would really benefit from. One, OKC, their interior size isn't enough to punish the Lakers, right? Like, Rudy Gobert, as inept as he can be offensively sometimes, is still a big physical interior presence that it's hard for the Lakers to handle on the inside. Where, somebody like an Isaiah Hartenstein, he's just kind of energy and effort. He's got some size and stuff like that, but he's not so big that Rui Hachimura can't, match up size-wise and physicality-wise. And, he's not so, like, imposing and stuff. Chet Holmgren would rather take, and be out on the perimeter than on the inside, dominating and bang with the big boys. I think the Lakers would have, I'm not saying that they would have for sure locked it in, beat OKC, but I don't think it would have been a surprise if the Lakers beat OKC. Again, matchups are very important. Lakers matched up very good against OKC. Originally, I believed OKC would win Game 7. Now, I'm not sure. It's 50-50 for me now. Yes, OKC is at home, but Indiana is carrying the momentum heading into Game 7. Great series. Yes, this has been a fantastic series. And look, I'm with you. I really do think this is a 50-50 game. I really do think that this is a game that can genuinely go either way. Both teams have shown that they can win on the road, and Indiana's already beaten them in game 1 in OKC. I think OKC has all of the pressure on them. I think, again, Indiana, what pressure do they have? They're the underdog. They went on this Cinderella run that no one expected them to go on, right? Went through just the gauntlet. If they lose, everyone's just going to, man, hey, what a run. Good job, Indiana. We're so proud of you. That was great. Hopefully you can get back here again next year, right? Like, if OKC loses, again, what a waste of a season. Now you're being compared. I mean, we saw it with Golden State, right? Now, obviously, they didn't set the win record, but they were, they did a pretty good job of getting close. And, SGA wins MVP, and, all like the story's supposed to be you completed the perfect season. And the conversation's supposed to be, this is one of the greatest teams in NBA history. You lose that, it's a lot of pressure for a very young team. Talk about the youngest team to win a championship in like 40 years or whatever it is, 50 years. Like, it's a lot. It's a lot of pressure to put on a team that's this young. So, again, if you're somebody that is thinking that OKC is a lock to win this, you might end up being very disappointed. Let's go Indy. In all honesty, the Thunder are probably winning. Unfortunately, I just hope it's not another Thunder blowout in the first quarter. At least let's come down to the wire. Yes, I agree. Again, if I had to bet on it, I would bet on the Thunder. But don't be surprised. Like I said, I think it's a 50-50 game. Right? If the Thunder were on the road, I would take Indiana. Right? This is one of those games where I just think OKC, if they have the home crowd, they'll probably get a little more favorable of a whistle. Again, I hope that the refs just stay out of it. Let them kill each other. Let them, stumble over it. Let them do whatever they need to do. Stay out of it. Don't get all into it. We don't need this to be a what about me type of reffing game. All right. But I hope it's not a blowout either. I want a hard fought, tooth and nail game. I want this to be a game that comes down to the wire. Give me a game winner, something crazy, whatever. Tyler and Aaron Nesmith or Andrew Nembhard, words are hard, would elevate the Lakers so much, bro. Yeah, I mean, they need guys like that. Athleticism, two-way, legit 3-and-D style guards, guard forwards that can just, again, do multiple things out there on the basketball court. Those are the kind of things the Lakers are really going to have to find. Those are the kind of things that the Lakers are really going to have to, try to figure out here. If they can do that. Indiana probably runs it back. Halliburton was hurt as a reason. Yeah, that's kind of my thought too. And then I pulled up your OKC might finally cash their chips in. Yeah, I agree. I think if Indiana wins this, Indiana stays the course. I think they'll stay the course, maybe add a piece or two here and there, but also they're going to have to get into the tax and stuff like that. So they might not have a choice but to kind of stay the course. You know what I mean? They might not have a choice but to kind of, stick to what they running it back. There we go. But OKC, yes, I could see OKC potentially panicking to an extent, right? Like, again, especially, does Sam Presti give in to the noise if OKC loses? Because there's going to be a lot of it. There's going to be a lot of noise if OKC loses this game. There's going to be a lot of again, they failed, this, that, the other. Does he understand, hey, we're a very young team who just went to a game 7 in the NBA Finals. Yes, we lost. It sucks. It's unfortunate. But look, we were, a shot here, a moment there from, winning an NBA championship, right? And stay the course. Or does he end up doing, an OKC 2.0, right? Where you end up, doing something foolish that you shouldn't have done when you probably would have been right back, right? Because look, even if OKC loses this year, it is very likely they are right back in the NBA Finals. Very likely. So again, what does the domino of them losing fall? Is it one that they're just kind of like, hey, sucks. It's unfortunate, right? Would have loved to pull that off, but we're an incredibly young team, youngest team to get there, right? All that stuff. Trust the process type thing, or do they like full fledged, just like, we need a Giannis, hey, let's sell the farm and go get Kevin Durant, right? Like something crazy like that. That I think would be kind of interesting. I think OKC still wins, but damn, what a series! Agreed. This is a wonderful series. I think again, if I had to, Tyler, who's going to win it, I'd probably take OKC as well. But again, it would not in the slightest. I think this is a coin flip game. I would say this is like 60-40 OKC. And the only reason I put OKC at 60% is, one, they already experienced a game 7. So I think that helps and goes a long way. And two, they are, they're at home, right? Those two things kind of bump it up. Otherwise, I like if Indiana was at home, I would take Indiana. What's going on, Mr. Radio? OKC in 7. I think most likely. I think that if I had a guess, that's probably what ends up happening. If Indiana actually wins, who is the MVP? Siakam? Yeah. I think he'll get the MVP. He's been fantastic for them. I'm not gonna lie though. I would love, because I mean, you can make an argument. Look, Siakam again has been fantastic for them, but TJ McConnell might be like, he's been the biggest X factor. TJ McConnell is like the reason that they win this championship. If they win this championship, that guy has been special. Guy has been fantastic in this series, right? I mean, you can make an argument he's been their second best player behind Pascal Siakam, right? On some nights, he's even been their best player, in my opinion, right? As far as like impact goes and stuff like that, right? Because I mean, not only is he scoring the basketball and all that stuff, but he's doing the dirty work, man. That guy just has his hand in everything, right? Like, I mean, you even look at this game, 6 of 12 from the floor, right? 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 steals, right? 12 points. The guy's been absolutely special for this team. Absolutely special. I hope we get Walker Kessler and John Collins. I hope the Lakers get Walker Kessler and John Collins as well. To me, it just, again, it's like, what is Utah willing to come down to, right? Because, do you have to trade Austin Reeves? If you have to trade Austin Reeves, I don't think the Lakers trade Austin Reeves for that. Supposedly Utah and the Lakers talk John Collins, like a Rui John Collins sort of swap. Obviously, you'd have to add more than just Rui. Even if they were willing to just kind of swap players, you'd still have to add more, because John Collins is making 10 million more than Rui. So regardless, another player would have to be involved. But look, I'm high on John Collins. I think John Collins would be fantastic. Give you that size, that athleticism, legit 3-and-D wing that can slot in basically 3 through 5. He is best suited at the 4, small ball 5. But if you can get him and then Walker Kessler, I mean, you and most of the people in this chat, if not everyone in this chat, know that I am very big on Walker Kessler. Like, he's the guy that I constantly am trying to speak into existence and stuff. So, yeah, if they can pull off a Walker Kessler and John Collins, I mean, if I'm being honest, I'd probably give up whatever you had to get Walker Kessler and John Collins, because I think both of those guys solve so many of your needs for the Lakers. Now you got not only your franchise center, but the second best defensive center in all of basketball behind Victor Wembanyama last year. And even in some areas, Kessler was actually better than. And then John Collins gives you size, speed, athleticism, and then shooting and defense, right? So again, it gives you it's just a better Rui, and especially for what this Lakers team needs, right? So, yeah, if you could pull that off, that would be fantastic. Zion, how do you feel about Lu Dort? I personally don't like his game sometimes. He's a good defender. It's just he can be very uncoordinated and over the top to where he hurts himself and other players. Okay, I love Lou Dort. I love the energy. I love the effort. He's a guy that you never question, right? And I have said on several occasions, I'd rather a guy be overly aggressive than not aggressive at all. But Lou Dort, like, there's things that borderline on intentional at times, and I don't like that. Like, there's things that borderline on just like that's like dirty, and I don't like that. It's one thing if you're just being overly aggressive and you know run into a guy or knock a guy down or something like it's another thing. Like some of these things that he's doing it again, like I said, he's hurting himself or he's hurting other players. And I get it's he's going 100 miles an hour, the entire 35 minutes he's in the game. And I get that. And I love that. I love his game without a doubt. I think he is an excellent player. I would love to have him on the Lakers, but he's a guy that, it's like cool it sometimes, right? But the problem is it's hard to tell somebody like that to do that, right? It's hard to go to him and being like, hey, the one thing that makes you special? Yeah, you should tone it down a little bit, right? Like it's hard. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like when he's on your team, you love it because you're like, he ain't hurting our guys, right? But when you're playing against them, you're like, come on, like this is ridiculous, right? Like why are we allowed to let this happen, right? So it's like him being on OKC. If you ask anybody on OKC, it's clean. He's the best, right? Like, oh, people are just crying the soft league, blah 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 blah. But if he was on Indiana, I guarantee OKC fans would be talking about how he's dirty, right? This is ridiculous. The NBA needs to do something, right? It's one of those things. When he's on your team, you love it. You love him, right? The over the top, the hey, you're overly aggressive, no problem. Great job. Good playoff foul, Dort, right? Like that's when he's on your team, that's your response. But when you're playing against him and you're on the other side of that, this is ridiculous, right? So again, it's just perspective. Um, Tyler, if Shea wins Finals MVP, would you consider him the best player in the world? No, I would still say Jokic is the best player in the world, but I think he'd be a clear-cut second. I think he's number 2 in the world behind Jokic. I mean, Jokic with nowhere near the team, right? A lot of question marks. A coach that only coached 15 games, whatever, nearly beat SGA and this Thunder team. And in all honesty, should have. Like there were 2 games that they should have won, right? And, they just kind of blew it. So, no, Jokic is there's still a gap between Jokic and SGA, right? You put Jokic on this team, right? This Thunder team, I think the series is already over. Like genuine. I think they beat Indiana in like 5, right? Like I just think that, again, it's he's the best player. Like Jokic is the best player in the world. But I do think SGA, I think SGA is arguably the second best right now. But if he wins Finals MVP, wins the NBA championship, I think you have to, like, I don't think there's no argument, who the second best player is. I think it's clear cut him. I like how everyone was saying this was going to be a trash series, but people like us who actually like basketball and are real fans of the NBA are loving it. Yeah, that's usually how it goes, right? You have basketball fans, and then you have fans of a team or a sport or a player, right? Like, like I'm a LeBron fan, not a Laker fan, but I support the Lakers because LeBron is on the Lakers, right? You get those, you see those comments all the time, all of that, right? Like, so you get those people, and then you get the people that are like, I'm a Laker fan, but not so much a basketball fan. If the Lakers aren't playing, I ain't watching type thing, right? And in a lot of ways, that's the majority, right? Like, it's a thing. But the diehard basketball, like I am a student of the sport. I love the game of basketball, right? Like I just watch basketball just to watch basketball, right? Whether my team's playing, I'm watching basketball, right? And so going into this, it was like this might be an excellent series. I did have my concerns that OKC might just kind of run through it, right? Run through Indiana, and this could be maybe a quick series. I had OKC in 6. Obviously, we're in game 7. So, either I'm way wrong or, off by a game. But this playoffs has been special. Like, here's the thing, though, too. This game 7 might end up being one of the most watched in a long time, right? Like playoff games, because one, it's a game 7 and people, love those moments, that like winner take all game, right? And then 2, you start building the hype and the noise of like, oh man, this is a really good series. And, people like myself are telling, hey, dude, have you seen this series? Series is great. Like, I do think game 7 will ratings and all that, I think will be really good. Tyler, did you see the picture of Siakam where it looked like he was selling his soul? Yeah, the one where he's like looking up and his eyes roll back or whatever. It's like just the white of his eyes. Yeah, I saw that, which I thought was hilarious. But yeah, I mean, hey, um, let's see. Love that the world is taking notice on TJ McConnell. He's an absolute dog. LeBron has spoken very highly on McConnell and wanting to play with a player like him several times. Yeah, dude, the guy has been special, like genuinely, right? Like, he's been so good. If he won Finals MVP, I don't think anyone would be like, what? Like, people that actually watched this series, I think everyone would be like, okay, right? Like, Siakam's going to win it if they win it, and Siakam deserves it. But like, if you told me TJ McConnell won Finals MVP, I would be like, I can believe that, right? I mean, the impact that this man has had on this series is like, it's ridiculous. Right? And it's not just the scoring and stuff like the scoring's been great for them. They've needed it desperately. But it's just, again, the impact, just doing the dirty work, the hustle. Like you said, he's a dog. This guy is doing everything. And I mean, he's having moments where he is single-handedly, like was game 6, right? Or game 5, right? When they got back into the game, he like completely took over in the third quarter. That game was a blowout. And unfortunately, it ended in the way it did. And OKC just kind of ran away with it. But like, that game looked like it was going to be over a lot sooner. And then TJ McConnell stepped on the court and single-handedly brought them back in that game. And he's done that like several times in this series. That dude has been ridiculous for Indiana. Dude, that guy, again, like, if I'm Siakam and I win MVP, I am pulling TJ McCollum on stage, or in the spotlight, and sharing it with dude. You deserve this. That guy. This series is probably already over if not for TJ McConnell. That guy has been ridiculous. Not gonna lie, Tyler, I'm missing the old room with the white walls and the LeBron poster. Yeah, I know. I definitely got to get the poster back. I mean, like I said, we're still doing the house shop. I mean, it's a process, takes forever. You know what I mean? Because we want to find the right place. You got to find the right price, right? Like, it's just, you got to wait, like, put in the notice to like go look at the place. So it's just been a process. I don't even know, like I said, I don't even know if I have the posters, but like, that seems to be a general consensus where everyone's like, dude, get a background. And trust me, I want to get a background, but problem is, like I said, we're staying temporarily, and kind enough to be able to just kind of stay here as long as we need to. So, I don't want to like poke holes and do stuff to the walls and things like that. And, and then also just like put a bunch of stuff up and then have to take it down. It's just pain in the butt. But trust me, I want some stuff behind me as well. I want some kind of displays behind me as well. So, figuring that out. I might have to go to a bar with my friend for game 7. My exam is Saturday, so Sunday is perfect. Yeah, I don't blame you, right? Go watch this. You try to go to a bar that has the biggest screen possible and, just sit back and enjoy this game because, man, this is good. I think or at least I'm hoping, fingers crossed, I'm hoping that this game is special, right? I like genuinely, I hope that this game is special. Also, Tyler, how much would it cost to get a Day'Ron Sharpe? And when is Luka eligible for an extension? So, I mean, Day'Ron Sharpe, it's just, what is his price? Like, I could see him signing like an $8 to $10 million deal. Problem is that it hard caps the Lakers, which LeBron would have to take a discount at that point, right? Which maybe he would, but would he do that for Day'Ron Sharpe? Probably not. Now, you could do that, go get Day'Ron Sharpe, and then, tell LeBron, not only are we getting Day'Ron Sharpe, but we're also getting a, you know, full free up your full mid-level exception. So maybe you can get another piece or two, right? So my guess is Day'Ron's probably in that like 8 to 12 range right now. Because he still has a lot to prove. He's still very young. He's been a backup. So I look at him in that 8 to 12 range. However, I wouldn't be surprised. And then Luka, it could be, if I'm not mistaken, as soon as this off season, I think in a like little less than a month, he'll be eligible. I think it's like July 6th off the top of my head, something like that. I think he's available. Don't quote me exactly on that date, but I know it's like right around the corner. Like we're like right there. So what team most likely to have the biggest off season? That's actually a really good question. I think Orlando's going to keep going. I don't think Orlando, because here's the thing about Orlando. If whatever they're going to do, they're going to have to do this season because they're going to be a second apron team next season. Just Paolo Banchero's new contract alone will make them a second apron team. And that's not counting everyone else that they're going to have to get new contracts to and stuff, so like a Wendell Carter Jr., guys like that. So Orlando, I don't think is going to stop. I wouldn't be shocked if Boston is a has a big off season, but not in the sense of like, which I'm assuming you mean like acquiring players and kind of retooling or building teams. I think more so in just kind of selling, kind of just writing the season off, try to get the best pick possible, and then get Tatum back when you get Tatum back. Beyond that, I think if San Antonio gets Kevin Durant, they're going to have to make other moves. Because if you get Kevin Durant, you're all in at that point. Same thing with Houston, you could argue. So I think whoever wins the Kevin Durant sweepstakes that isn't a Minnesota. So basically, if Houston or San Antonio win, then I think that they'll be the biggest offseason. Also depends on if Giannis becomes available. Because, I mean, you can make an argument if Giannis becomes available and somebody actually trades for him, then that would be who gets the biggest offseason. So, do you think Denver is cooked? As currently constructed, yes. But if they start making some moves, no. I mean, Denver, I don't think Denver's very far from winning a championship. Problem is like Denver every year since winning keeps losing key core pieces, but not replacing them, right? Like you lose Bruce Brown. It's like, but you don't get anybody to kind of offset even some of that loss, right? And then you lose KCB, right? After he had you shot over 40% from 3-pointers and had a defensive, all NBA defensive season, right? But you didn't get anybody to replace him. It's just like, hey, we'll just upgrade Brown, right? Like, it's like, yeah, he's solid, but like, he's not replacing KCP. So to me, the two paths I see in order for Denver to kind of get back to being if not one of the best teams, if not the best team, is definitely got to trade Michael Porter Jr., turn him into a piece or pieces. I don't think that they will do this, but if I'm Denver, I would look to trade Jamal Murray, right? I think Jamal Murray, as great as he can be at times, is too inconsistent, kind of all over the place, right? I think his contract a little too high for what, he gives to Denver. I understand, you won a championship with him and all that stuff, but he also might be your best asset to then go get the pieces that you need, right? So, I wouldn't hate if Denver went and got a Kevin Durant. Can you turn Michael Porter Jr. into Kevin Durant? Something like that, right? Like the only guys that I think you have to keep are Aaron Gordon and Jokic, obviously, right? Everyone else, I think you should look to trade. And the only reason I think Aaron Gordon is like second on that list of untouchable is because of everything he does for that team in particular. He only gets better every year, particularly shooting the 3 ball, but that guy does literally everything for that team. everything. That guy defends, he rebounds, he does the dirty work, he makes the hustle play. I mean, the guy does everything you could ask for. So, yes, I do think that that's I don't think that they're cooked, but they need to make some moves. They need to do something. Tyler C. Blumhouse purchased the rights to the next Ultra League. Yes. And it's back in James Wan's hands, which I'm excited for. Right. Because I mean, that was his baby, right? So yes, I did see that. I wanted to make a video about it, but I just been swamped with all the NBA stuff and then, trying to live. Right. But appreciate you, Blugga. This series just goes to show that a retooled Lakers roster with a fully healthy Luka and LeBron can win a championship. I agree. Look, I said I don't think the Lakers are that. A comparable center by itself would do wonders for the Lakers, right? Like even just like a Clint Capella would do wonders for the Lakers. Now, is it enough to make you a clear bona fide contender? No, but who knows? Like, one, what does Luka look like next year? Two, what does Luka LeBron look like next year? Right now that they'll have a full training camp, a full offseason, a full preseason, JJ Redick will be better. The Lakers just naturally will be better than they were last year because you'll have a full season of Luka. You have a full offseason and training camp and stuff like that of actually implementing schemes, both defensively, offensively, as well as starting to build that chemistry and that core, right? Austin Reeves hopefully is better come playoff time next year, assuming he's still on the team, right? Like, even if the Lakers just basically ran it back, they would be better than they were this year. Obviously, none of us want them to do that. I'm not saying that they should do that, but just naturally they should be better, right? Add in a compatible center, I think does wonders for this team. Add a quality backup, I think really does wonders for this team. And then if you can add two real perimeter athletes, like two-way guys, I think the Lakers are right there, right? Like I've talked about, I think for the Lakers to really get back into true contention, again, assuming that the tide naturally raises for the Lakers, I think they need a clear starter, clear backup, and then two perimeter guys. I mean, it could be a DeAnthony Melton and a Gary Harris, right? Like it could be as simple as that. Just get you two guys that can, be reliable, play some defense, shoot an open shot, right? Gary Trent Jr., whomever, right? Just go get like 2 to 4 guys, right? And I think you're good. Ja was supposed to be SGA, what SGA is right now. Yeah, I mean, look, in a lot of ways, Ja he's one of those guys that can't get out of his own way. I always want to see the success. I always want to see, people succeed. I always want to see people be the best version of themselves. One, I think SGA is just better, right? He's just a better shooter, mid-range, three, all of that. Just better shot creator. But I also think a lot of Ja is just his own doing, right? Just can he get out of his own way? I think there is a version where he continues to get better. Ja would have made all NBA first team in 2023 if he didn't flash the gun. Yeah, exactly. That's my point, right? Like, guy just can't get out of his own way. Stay out of your own way, right? Like, don't be the one that beats yourself. Like it's one thing if somebody else beats you. Don't be the reason you get beat, right? I'm so glad Jeannie Buss sold the team. She doesn't know what she's doing. And Rob, better do something this offseason or I'm on his head. I get it. No, look, I am too. I am genuinely excited about that because now the Lakers have the finances to compete with everybody. They're not a mom and pop anymore type of organization. So I think that that's going to do wonders. Again, I've talked about it. Don't expect that to change the Lakers overnight. Like this is more of a long-term. Like I don't think anything is going to necessarily change this season. Right? I think all the moves that end up happening are all moves that would have happened regardless. Right? But I do think you will see incremental growth over the next few years. And I don't think you'll have like a KCP situation or anything like that ever again, which is really good. Crazy how we haven't had a game 7 since 2016. Hopefully it can somehow match up to that. I don't think any game will ever match that, but give an intense battle. Silver needs it. Yes. That was one of, if not the greatest game 7s ever. Right. And especially in finals history. Right. But again, I just give me a good quality game. Right? Like, I'm not saying it has to go down. Like, I mean, I'd like it to go down the line. But I'm not saying it has to necessarily go on a game winner. I would love if it ended on a game winner and we actually got something like that. I'm not saying it necessarily has to, but like, ideally, I'd like to see, this game be a battle, right? Like, my concern for this is like, it's over at halftime, or midway through the third, it's like OKC's up 30 and it's like, oh, here we go, game's over, right? Like, I just don't want that to happen. Chet is playing like, because he wants to be, he's more finesse. He wants to be perimeter, right? He wants to take 8 threes a game and and operate in the mid range and 3-point. He's not like, he's 7 feet or 6'10", 6'11", whatever he is, but he doesn't want to be on the inside, right? He doesn't want to bang with the big boys. He's too frail, right? Like, it's one of the things. He needs to understand, like, hey, like, guys can't guard me on the block, right? Give him the ball and let him just work, right? Let him work. Do you think Boston trading JB is a real possibility? If the price is right, absolutely. I mean, they've talked about trading Jaylen Brown for years. Like, this isn't like something new. Obviously, you'd think winning a championship would change that, but they're not going to trade Jaylen Brown unless it's for a return, right? Like, they're going to get a haul. But look, reports came out saying that Jaylen Brown is expected to get a haul. That teams are, what was it? Derek White and Jaylen Brown, teams are throwing out like crazy offers, was what the words were, like, that people are throwing out insane offers. I could see that. I could see teams like trying to sell the farm to go get those guys. I mean, Derek White might be one of, if not the best plug and play player in all of basketball. I mean, the dude can just, ideal 3-and-D guy, can slot in any role on any team, right? Like, so yes, do I think it's a real possibility? Absolutely. It would not shock me at all if they trade Jaylen Brown, but I would expect that return to be pretty hefty. If I'm the Raptors, I'm not going all in for KD and waiting for another star to become available. Yeah, I mean, the reason the Raptors are willing to go, because KD is very specific, right? So because of KD's age, the type of contracts and like the money and longevity and all that stuff is very specific, right? But also, whoever trades for KD would have his bird rights. So whoever trades for KD could give him more money than anywhere else. So a team like Toronto is looking at it as like, we will call your bluff that you're not going to re-sign, because are you really going to turn down the money and go elsewhere? Also, how many teams have the cap space to go and sign you? What, you're going to go back to Brooklyn, right, and be the only star? So you have teams like the Raptors that could look at it and go, like, where else is he going to go? Like, what is he going to do? And worst case scenario, we can always sign and trade him if we really have to, if he makes a big fuss, and recoup some of the assets back, right? So, you kind of see the package that these other teams are offering right now. Those same packages are probably going to be available around that time too. So, yeah, but honestly, I think Toronto should stay the course. Hi, Tyler. Do you kind of miss AD? Of course. I mean, I love AD. I was a big defender of AD at times. I, won us a championship, right? But, as much as I love AD, there's a lot of things about it, right? His age and him aging out, right? Also, him being the guy, right? As much as I love Anthony Davis, as much as I've defended Anthony Davis over the years, as much as I am high on Anthony Davis and would love to still see him in purple and gold, at the end of the day, there was genuine question of like, can he be the guy? Can he be our guy that takes us to the promised land in a post LeBron era? And, you got Luka now. So if we would have traded Anthony Davis for like, a pick package or something, I probably feel a little different. But you got Luka. It's kind of hard to say no. Apparently, no team is interested in acquiring Bradley Beal. I don't know what team would want to. Reading that news made me laugh for a good 5 minutes. Because again, it's just, he has a no trade clause. He's paid an insane amount of money. And it's just like, how many teams need him and where does he fit? Right? Like, I do think if he goes to a team that actually needs like what he does, which is score, being a shooting guard, I do absolutely believe he could get back to being a 23, 5-5 guy. right? A lot of people look at his stint with Phoenix and are like, he's washed up, he's trash. No, I just think he's the odd man out. I just think he's the guy that just he made no sense to begin with. I have. You want to talk about like Laker Damas and me being spot on? I have probably never been more spot on about a team than the Phoenix Suns. Like I mean, it's crazy. You go back and watch some of those videos. I've been like dead. The moment they traded for Bradley Beal, I literally broke down in a video exactly how that would go. And it has gone almost verbatim exactly how I said it would go. Like, that's like one of my crowning achievements is like, man, I was spot on with Phoenix, right? So again, like, I don't think Bradley Beal is just washed up, trash player, right? But he's overpaid. He's got a no trade clause, and what teams would have to give up and do it doesn't make sense, right? And Phoenix doesn't have a bunch of assets that they can pony up to go and take them. Like if Phoenix had like if Phoenix was like, hey, we'll give you 2 firsts to a team to take Bradley Beal, there'd be several teams probably lining up to take Bradley Beal, but they just don't have the assets to get off of him. And again, how many teams need him? Right? How many teams are looking at a Bradley Beal going like, yeah, that's the guy we need? And there are risks that he is washed up and cooked, right? If OKC loses, then trade Chet and a lot of picks and other players, basically make an offer that the Bucks can't resist for Giannis. I could honestly see something like that. I could see them being like, like, hey, here's a Godfather package. Say no to this. Here's Chet and, whatever, Carson Wallace, and you have to match salaries, also whatever. Here's 3 or 4 young players along with like 10 first round picks, and make the Bucks turn that down. I'm interested to see if Dallas can hang around the play-in seeding until Kyrie returns. I def think they are good enough to do so. They have solid role players and now have Cooper Flag with AD. Yeah. Look, I mean, look, if we're being honest, like Dallas is going to be a very good basketball team. Right? I think that they need like a real play. Like, honestly, I think go get a guy like a Chris Paul. Like Chris Paul would be perfect for them right now. Right? While they have no Kyrie, just the guy that can put it all together and just feed everybody the basketball. Like they need a playmaker, right? To kind of like let AD be AD, let all the role guys be the role guys. I think they'll be able to stay afloat. And then Kyrie comes back, and then, you can bring him off the bench, and, now Chris Paul is your backup. I don't hate the idea of Chris Paul, especially for a team that's trying to win right now. But I do think that they need to go get a point like Alonzo Ball, something like that. Hope he can stay up and stay healthy. I think they're right there. Do you think we would have kept AD if he was like 24? Yeah, 100%. They wouldn't have traded Anthony. If he was, 27, they probably would have kept him. I think that they would have tried to figure out how to trade him, but or trade for Luka regardless. But yeah, I think it would have been a different scenario. Just wondering, as stands, who would you say is our best defender right now? I still think it's Jared Vanderbilt when he's like healthy and locked in. I think Jared Vanderbilt excuse me. I think Jared Vanderbilt is our best defender, is the Lakers' best defender. Tyler, Lakers will need more than a center. Everyone is thinking that AR will be faster and more athletic, but he won't be. So let's please stop. They will be ran out of the playoffs again, 2 wins. Look, they definitely need more than a center to be a clear-cut contender. What I'm saying is that a center alone would do wonders for this team. That doesn't necessarily make them, one of the top 3 to 5 teams in all of basketball, but it will. That will by itself do wonders for this team. Look, I am very open in public about, I think the Lakers should and need to trade AR. I just don't think that they're going to. I just don't necessarily see that happening. But yeah, Lakers need to get 2 wins for sure. 2 wins. Like I said, 4 players. Need a clear-cut starter, clear-cut backup, and 2 perimeter guys. Do you think Philly going to have a bounce-back season? No, I just don't trust those guys to stay healthy. I don't. I just don't trust Joel Embiid. When he plays, dude is unbelievable. But that's the problem. Best ability is availability. Paul George is just as bad. I think they're supposed to run it back. I think you're going to get the same result. I do. I think you're going to, and then even if you do get through the regular season and you get to the postseason, you still have to hope and pray that those guys can stay healthy through a postseason. Because that's the problem. Even in the seasons where they have been healthy and made it to the postseason, they get hurt in the postseason. So it's kind of like one of those things. Like I can't believe in you until you prove to me otherwise. If you were like 23, would you enter the NBA draft? No. I was decent basketball player growing up, and and then you go and you play some of these like top guys. Like I played in a prep league, and it had some names and stuff in it, and you realize very quickly you're not very good at basketball. Right. Like, like you play basketball. I'm like, oh man, I'm doing this, that, and the other. Look at me that people, oh man, Tyler, you're so good at basketball, blah, blah. And then you go play somebody that actually is really good at basketball. And you realize very quickly, you're not very good at basketball. Right. Like, so yes. Again, I was park good. Right. You go to the park, you're like, oh man, that guy's really good. But like, good enough to enter the draft? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I was pedestrian. I was average, well below average. Where would you like to see players like Giannis, Embiid, and Durant end up if they do end up getting traded? Embiid, I just don't trust him to stay healthy. Right? Like I just don't buy him regardless. Giannis, I would love to see him go. Honestly, Giannis and Durant, I would love to see on the Spurs. I think if either team wants to win like immediately, I think you go to Minnesota. I think Minnesota is probably the best place for them. Go with Anthony Edwards. He can be the guy. Like Giannis and Anthony Edwards would be disgusting, right? Same thing with like Durant and Anthony Edwards. So I think the answers are kind of the same. Like Spurs or although I'm not gonna lie, I would love to see Giannis and Joel Embiid, or not Joel Embiid. Sorry, I'm reading the comment. Giannis and Nikola Jokic, right? Like, how does that pairing look? Why does Stephen A. Smith love drama? First LeBron, then Helly, because he cooked his team, and now Ja would have lose. That's my point. Like, I made a video about it here on this channel earlier today. I don't get it. Like, when did we become a clown show? When did we become about drama rather than just like, Stephen A. Smith himself says, I'm a basketball analyst. Like, when has he ever analyzed basketball? I don't think I've ever heard him once actually give a real basketball breakdown. And it drives me crazy. Do you think the Wizards will ever get better? Never say never. Eventually, forever is long, right? So eventually, they'll hit on somebody, right? They'll end up landing that draft pick or something, but I don't think it's going to be anytime soon. I'm fine with Jeannie staying for a little bit as long as she doesn't get the input. Those are Linda and Kurt Rambis. Sorry, but we need to be done with them. Got no reason to be here. Yeah. I think that, her as the governor and running the Lakers, she is excellent at that. She is excellent as the Lakers owner. She's not good at the basketball things. She needs to stay out of the basketball business. And I'll still never understand Stephen A. Smith. I saw your video today, and he's so annoying, man. That exposed himself on his own when he's begging LeBron to take him off the court. He's like the high school popular girl creating drama and stuff behind others' back, and someone who loves when the drama is there with them. Yeah, again, he's creating unnecessary drama just to create unnecessary. I just don't get it. Don't get it, right? Like, stick to basketball. Not everything has to be about some drama, clickbait, or like I talked about with the Ja Morant thing. Like, Ja wasn't talking about it. He was talking about, like, dude, the NBA Finals is going on. Like, yes, it was kind of a silly comment because it's like Grizzlies traded for Desmond Bane. So, of course, you're going to be in conversations, right? I understand, the return response to Ja Morant. It's the comment. It's the way he did it. Right? Making it something that it wasn't and that it didn't need to be, right? Becoming this like little, it's just for what? Do you think Kawhi was actually going to sign with the Lakers, or was he using that as leverage for the Clippers? Didn't trade for Paul George, by the way. We still need a battle of LA in the playoffs. Yeah, we still need a battle in LA in the playoff series. I agree with you 100%. I think it's possible that it could have been both, right? Like, why couldn't it have been both, right? Like, hey, I'm going to go sign with the Lakers unless you do this. And if they don't do that, you go sign with the Lakers. Like, do I think he would have signed with the Lakers? Absolutely. I genuinely believe he would have signed with the Lakers had the Clippers not done what they were supposed to. But again, like, you use that as your leverage, use that as your point to make sure that gets done. Do you think Fred VanVleet is getting traded? I think he's on an expiring contract. Supposedly he's expected to opt out because I think he has a player option, or is it a team option? I know there's an option. He's and get a new contract, right? That's kind of the plan here. So we'll see. But otherwise, yes, I could see them trading him. Just for fun as it stands, what is your favorite breakfast food? For me, it's bacon. Dude, this is hilarious because my daughter asked me that very question like 3 hours ago. What time is it right now? Like 4 hours ago. Like, just randomly. Like, I was playing with her and like hanging out. And then we were just kind of like laying down and just cuddling for a minute. And then she just like looked at me and she's like, Dad, what's your favorite breakfast food? And I was like, an omelet. I like me some biscuits and gravy. I know. Bacon, right? And she was like, oh, like, and then she was like, what about this? What about that? She was like, what about a cheeseburger? And I was like, well, that kind of be more lunch or dinner, right? And then it was funny. That's hilarious because it's just literally she asked me that very question like 3 or 4 hours ago. I had like a 20-minute long conversation with my with my youngest for about my breakfast food. Tyler, if for some reason Lakers don't trade Reeves, then how many points and assists do you see him averaging? I wouldn't be shocked if he's still 25-5 or 25-6 averaged on the season. But yeah, because I think what'll happen is LeBron will be the third guy. Never going to be the third guy. LeBron's going to go get his 20 plus every night regardless. But I think what'll happen is LeBron will kind of pick his spots, and I think Luka and Reeves will kind of be the guys. What's your top 10 players all time? Damn, that's a good question. I don't know. I'd probably have to really write that out. I mean, definitely LeBron, Jordan, Kobe, Shaq. Because you're saying Kareem. Because I don't think I mentioned Kareem. I don't know. There's something I'd probably have to really think through and write out. Did I say Magic? I don't think I said Magic. Once you start getting to the 7th and 8th, it kind of I think it becomes kind of pick your poison. I don't know. It's something I'd really have to think through. I haven't really thought that through, but there's 7 of them. If we got Jokic instead of Luka, would you be over the moon even more? I don't know if I'd be over the moon even more. I'd be probably about the same. Because I mean, the benefit with Luka is he's younger, right? You'd have more time with him, but you'd also get the best player in the world. So, I'd be more confident in us winning a championship, right? To put it that way. Tyler, rank your current top 10 NBA players by who's better. Let's assume let's going off of this season right now. I would say Jokic, SGA, Giannis, Luka. Trying to go through guys in my head. Why am I blanking on guys? God, why am I blanking on guys? I don't know. That's a good question. Again, this is something that I'd probably have to write out rather than do it off the top of my head. What did I say? Jokic, SGA, Giannis, Luca. I still think you have to put Steph up there somewhere in the top 10. I don't think I'd put him fifth. I think LeBron was still a top 10 player in the league this year. um, this year, I think you can make an argument Cade Cunningham was a top 10 player, right? Like, he was amazing this year. Couple guys I'd put up there. Yeah, what is that? I think that's 9 or 10. Tyler, how's it feel to be an hunk? It feels great. I know I'm getting old. If PG was still in his prime, would you want him kind of badly as it stands? He was so good back with the yeah. If this was like Indiana, PG, absolutely 1,000%. I think Kevin Durant is a better player than Steph Curry because Curry impacts winning and won 2 rings without KD. He is deservingly put higher all-time list. I think Kevin Durant is a better player than Steph Curry, but because of Curry, yeah, like I think Kevin Durant is overall better than Curry, right? Like I think the best version of Durant, the best version of Curry. I just think Curry, again, with the rings and whatnot, yeah, I think he'll go down as the better player all time. What's your favorite TV series? Besides anime, because I know you're a Dragon Ball fan. I think that's the name of it. For example, like The Office or Big Bang Theory or stuff like that. My favorite TV series ever is Supernatural. I love that show, Supernatural. Supernatural is really good. Never really been like a big show in movie, like in like things like The Walking Dead and stuff like that. Like I wasn't really a fan of, even like Game of Thrones, things like that like people love. But like Supernatural, big fan of. Right now, I'm a big fan of the show From. I really like the show From, but they're taking 2 years to get on to season 4, which is driving me crazy. But as far as like anime goes, to be honest, Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball period is pretty much it. Like I tried to get into like One Piece and all that other stuff. I just couldn't. I think it's just, nostalgia. I grew up with Dragon Ball. It's just kind of like that thing. Like I'm not like a big anime guy, period. I just think it's, I just love Dragon Ball Z. It's just more of like I'm a Dragon Ball Z fan rather than an anime fan. Wimby and Spida, Wimby, I think that you can make an argument for top 10. Spida, personally, I don't. Tatum and Ant-Man, yes. Ant-Man, I knew I was forgetting some. Anthony Edwards for sure. Ant-Man or Tatum, yes. But honestly, I think you can make an argument for him outside of the top 10 just based on this season. But look, outside of the top 5, I think it's very debatable, right? Like I could probably put together a compelling argument why Wimby is a top 5 player, right? Like again, it's just there's guys that it's just once you get to the past top 5, it's kind of just discretionary. Last fun question. Do you think Mahomes will at some point be the GOAT? I think he has a very good chance. I think he has like an incredible chance. Yes. Love Breaking Bad. Dexter. Yes. I have yet to get into you and watch you. I know a lot of people have told me that. But yes, Breaking Bad, watched all of that. Dexter. Yes. You know what show? First time I started watching it, I hated it. And then like I rewatched it. Like, this was like years ago. I haven't watched it in years, but it was like Nip Tuck. Couple things like that. Top 10 all time: LeBron, Jordan, Kareem, Magic, Bird, Kobe, Shaq, Duncan, Curry, Bill Russell. Yeah. Violin, Saga, and Naruto are top tier. I know Naruto is a huge one. What's your movie channel and how did you get famous off of it? I wouldn't say I got famous off of it at all. Definitely not famous. That's for sure. The Laker channel is actually the biggest channel I have. But the movie channel I have is as Fate Decided. It was my first it's the first channel I ever started. If it wasn't for that, I never would have started the sports channels, which I think is interesting. But my movie channel, it's really not a movie channel. It's more just like horror movies. I'm a big horror movie guy. Although I have started to try to dive into other things, but yeah, it's called Fate Decided. If you type in Fate Decided, you'll see it. First time watching Terrifier, my jaw dropped. I don't blame you. As stands, would you say Shaq and Kobe are better than Jordan and Pippen? Prime Shaq and prime Kobe, like, not the problem is like that version of Kobe, I don't think is the best version of Kobe. But I do think that version of Shaq is the best version of Shaq. If you could take honestly, if you give me 24 Kobe with that version of Shaq against Jordan Pippen, yes. As far as duos go, yes. Tyler, why are you such a big Reed? That was great. That's a great way to end it. Die hard Reeves guy. No, look, I like Reeves. I do. I genuinely like Reeves. I know a lot of people think I don't and hate on him, but I'm not hating on it. Again, me speaking facts is not hating. And two, no one's untradeable. I would trade LeBron if San Antonio hit their head or Nico Harris became the GM of San Antonio and we're like, hey, we'll swap you Wemby for LeBron. I would do that tomorrow, right? Again, so if you do that for LeBron, you're trading Austin Reeves. The right trade comes along. But anyway, I'm going to skate on out here. I appreciate you all. Seriously, thank you so much for hanging out with me on this channel. Trying to grow this channel, trying to get, I need to get the watch time, like I said. So if you get some time or if you can, check out some of the videos on this channel, or just if you go shower or something, just play all. So that way we could do something like that. But again, I'm gonna skate on out of here. You guys are beautiful. Thank you all. On the way out, if you haven't yet, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button.